So Jaylen Brown wanted a max contract, and he almost got one. In some ways, it's like effectively a max. It's technically like a 4-year extension at $107 million, because those are like the realistic incentives, and there's extra incentives which are probably not going to happen. Granted, I have not looked at them. I've just seen that on Twitter, and I'm going to run with it as gospel. So my initial reaction to this on Twitter was the blank face emoji times like 15. But we got to talk about this. So clearly Jaylen Brown is not a max player. He is not what you would deem a close to max player either. But of course, this is the NBA, right? Tobias Harris, Chris Middleton, Otto Porter, Jamal Murray, Andrew Wiggins, whoever else. This type of stuff happens, and now we can add Jaylen Brown to the list. The first obvious question is like, how good can Jaylen really be? I mean, to me, Jaylen's ceiling is an all-defense candidate, and I do think he's going to take a big jump defensively this season. And I've said this before, if you do enough digging, there's reason to suggest that he's like already that good, and we just don't realize it yet. I don't know. I'm not all the way there on that one, but okay. But you know, the defensive signs are there. I mean, the wingspan, the athleticism, the height, the strength, it's all that stuff, right? Offensively, I think Jaylen can average a solid 16, 17 a game at the most. I mean, he can't do too much off the dribble. I remember at some point I was like, can he be the next Iguodala? I don't think so. I mean, Iguodala was getting 6 assists a game for a while. I don't think Jaylen has that kind of shot creation, pick and roll ability, or playmaking skills. But I think he can make open threes. I think he can cut to the basket, and I think he can bust out like line drives in the half court occasionally, and of course in transition, finishing alley-oops, going for offensive rebounds. Obviously, he's got all that. But I just think that caps out at 17 points a game. So that means if we're talking about, like, you know, competing for championships, which that's the goal, and I think that's the Celtics' main thing, because this is not a situation of, like, a team that's always bad trying to just be decent. This is a team that's been decent trying to get to that, you know, top level. So that's when I start to get a little freaked out, because if you're doing this and you're capping yourself out basically to Kemba, Tatum, and Jaylen, because of course Tatum's getting a max when he's able to do it, and the contracts are set up to where Hayward's going to be off the books when Tatum is ready to re-sign and all that stuff, and Kemba will still be here. So if you're going to be Kemba, Tatum, Jaylen, Marcus Smart, and then you figure everything else out, you're asking a lot of Jaylen Brown, but you're also asking a lot of Jason Tatum. I mean, can Tatum be one of the best scorers in the league? Like, can Tatum and Kemba be this 25-plus point scoring duo that can win you tough playoff series? Because in that specific scenario, I think looking at what I believe Jaylen's ceiling is, I feel comfortable with him as my number 3 guy. Now, I'm still a little freaked out about his offensive limitations off the dribble, but I could buy into that, right? If my number 3 guy is this 17-point scoring, open 3 making dude who can play awesome defense, okay, I could see it. But that's going to require a lot of things to go well, and decent chance not everything clicks exactly the way the Celtics want it to. But anyway, speaking strictly from on-the-court stuff, we'll get into salary cap and trade things in a second here, but in terms of just on the basketball floor, a few things need to go their way, certainly, for this to look better than it does at this moment. Now, to be fair, I think some of it is also like in a couple years when the cap has gone up a little bit more, this is not going to look as bad as it does in this very moment. Not saying that it's suddenly all going to be fixed, but, you know what I mean. Even if the cap is potentially not going to be as high because of the whole China stuff, don't really know, whatever. So let's look at the other side of all this, which is the potential of trades. And I know people don't want to hear that when it comes to the Celtics anymore, and to be honest, I'm a little tired of talking about it, but it's the way it is. They've still got excess draft picks. The Grizzlies pick could still be pretty legit. It's top 7 protected this season. The lottery is so random at this point, we don't really know, but between that pick, all of their own picks, and this Bucks pick, there's still ammo. And they've got young dudes. Carson Edwards is something. You got Robert Williams. While it would not earn Danny Ainge any karma whatsoever on the internet, there is Gordon Hayward's salary, and his contract is close to being expiring here. And, if we can keep on getting crazy, there is Jaylen. The dude just signed a big contract to make himself, work amongst star players getting traded or whatever. That's all still there. There's also Langford as well. So they still have trade ammo, which could mean something, could mean nothing. But, of course, with the way the NBA has been the past few off seasons with dudes getting moved, it's always something that we should remember. I actually want to get more into the nitty-gritty of, the salary numbers and stuff. So, if we look at the 2022 season, which I think makes the most sense, because that is when Tatum is hitting restricted free agency. Again, he's getting a max. That is definitely happening. And I don't know what the exact number would be. It's usually $27 million a year for rookie max extensions, which takes them to $115 for that year. We assume Hayward's off the books, and there's little things between Vincent Poirier's restricted free agency or whatever, but there's nothing too big. So at 115, and we can ballpark it a little bit, and we can hope that China doesn't destroy the NBA's salary cap in 2022. That would actually maybe put them under the cap, because it's going to be 125 that year, and it's going to put them way under the luxury tax, which is going to be 150 million. Again, projections, realgm.com, all that stuff. So they would still have room to do things. Don't ask me what those things are, but again, combine that with the picks they have and all that. And I don't think they've boxed themselves in with just moves that they can make. Whatever those moves may be, I don't know. So yeah, but again, to get back to the heart of the whole thing, they're still going to need a lot of things to go well. I mean, if Jaylen can be awesome, then cool. I understand that is a very basic look at this, but it's pretty much what it comes down to. You paid him a crap ton of money, and now he's got to back it up. And, to be positive, he was pretty damn good to end last season, however you want to do that. Last 30 games, last 20, last 40, I don't know. And his second season was pretty promising. I mean, he's put up a solid 15 a game, and then he had too big of a head about himself. So, yeah.